muti. No cha. Each other so goody.
Cover no pace, mellow. That you ate that.
Is I will tell. They wanna wonder.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Thanks for tuning into PopCon. I'm your G1 host, Victor, and you are here at the PopCon Toy Shelf. You know, I don't give my love of Star Wars enough love. But that's going to change today. I spent a lot of time adding to my Thundercat collection and even my Masters of the Universe Origins, but I do have a small representation from Star Wars, and believe me, the whole original trilogy had a huge impact on me. I'm emotionally connected to it, so when I chose to represent, I represented here with Jabba's playset. I liked the vintage collection that came out, and I really wanted to show it off, so I did it in this way, I guess because the Return of the Jedi was the third movie. It was coming to an end. Also, it's a very cool, pivotal scene. It has everybody, pretty much, a lot of action, a lot of adventure. So, I also, I like playsets, and I know you guys like playsets too. So, now they haven't made everybody who needs to be in here in the vintage collection yet, and maybe they will, but that's okay. I just want to keep it going. So, I've got 2 new action figures to add today, and they've got to be part of the scene, so can you guess who it might be? So, look around to see who I've got already, right? All right, yeah, that's right. You got it. You guys named it. It's Chewbacca. Yeah, so it makes sense, right? I've already got Princess Leia in the Boushh disguise, so she came with Chewbacca. Now, if you notice, this Chewbacca is branded with the Star Wars. So I don't think there's a Return of the Jedi version. Either way, it doesn't have handcuffs. But that's all right. He's going to fit perfectly in there, and it makes sense in the scene. Klaatu. Now, it shows he's in the Skiff Guard costume and on the Skiff Guard in his box, but I looked it up. I did my research. He definitely was in Jabba's palace wearing this costume, so that is good. That means he can be here and fill up the ranks inside. I've got Klaatu, I have got Chewbacca, and we're going to open these guys up. They come in the standard Star Wars Vintage Collection packaging, blister pack, which is an homage to, of course, the original card backs of the Star Wars action figures in the 80s. They're relatively boring on the other side. I mean, like, half of it is all legalese and annoying stuff. Now, there are some couple other images there of other characters that are in the line. But most importantly, here we go. Now, you know what? Let's not look at their packages. You just did. They're pretty boring. Let's just open them, right? So that would be cool. I'm going to do it. I mean, what else? What are we going to do? What are we going to do, right? Here it is. Ripped it off. Rip it out. Oh, it's like ripping off a Band-Aid, right? There he is, Chewbacca. What I love about this Chewbacca is the hair hanging off of his hands. But we'll see that up close in a moment. Here we go again. Oh, almost lost it. So here he goes. This is cool. So Klaatu, I want to say, make sure I say his name right. Klaatu. And, oh, there we go. Peeling that bubble right off. Pulling it out. What is it with all the Jabba characters with these staffs? Why can't they just have a freaking blaster, right? Pew, pew. So I've got these 2. We're going to get them up close and personal, review the action figures, get them on the in the play set, and join the others. So let's get it on.
Klaatu. So these 3 3/4 inch figures are remarkably detailed. They have a really worn and weathered look. Look at his costume. Dirty, but it also shows all the folds and the material. So I really like that look. Even in the face, the smallest detail is carved right in. So really love the look of these. Vintage collection. I keep collecting them. The staff that he comes with can be held in one or both hands, and he works really well. Not a problem there at all. So here's the back side. This character is found on Jabba's sail barge, actually the skiff, during the scene over the desert, but he is also in Jabba's palace along with some other aliens of his same race. Now, he's got great articulation, as most of them do. So his helmet does not come off. I gave it a good try, gave it a good pull. But like I said, the staff easily comes on and off. But he's got all those places, the knee joint, the ankle joint, round, going in circles, bend side to side. It also has a hip, not a hip as much as a higher on the thigh. He rotates at the knee as well. He's got a little bit of waist. He does have that chest. He certainly does have the elbows, the shoulders, the wrists. So you can pose him anyway. Now, they do have small feet. I've said that before. Their little small feet make him a little treacherous to pose, but they can make it, and use a little action figure putty or paste to get them right there on your display. Chewie is, of course, taller than Klaatu and most of the other action figures, as he should. He is an 8-foot tall Wookiee. And He looks great. Look at the fur detail overlapping, which helps in the figure look like he's in motion with lots and lots of hair. Look at his mouth open. So I do love the fur on his arms. The way you pose him really makes you feel like he could be in action in a battle, or he could be a prisoner in Jabba's palace. This figure comes, of course, with the bandolier, or the pouch and holder there, as well as the crossbow. But look at that fur on his arm coming out like that, like it's flying out in action. Now, the crossbow sucks. It really does, because the front piece is packaged separately, or it's not attached, and it's really hard to put in. It should have been done like the G.I. Joe classified Scarlet action figure you see here, which was a little bit of a snap-on. But other than that, the figure is great. It is really hard to even get his crossbow, his bowcaster, I should call it, into that hand. It's really hard, but it's easy to come out. So you can see that it twists at the wrist and the ankle. I mean, this guy can do anything. He's like magical. Like, he could be a dancer. The feet, those big ass feet, easy to put down. By the way, he can stand up really easy, better than most. But he can do so many poses. You can just make him dance. You can make him perform. He can be the life of the party. These articulation pieces, this is what I love most about these guys. All right, I said he didn't come with handcuffs, but I was even wrong. He should have come with a neck cuff and a chain that would connect to Bausch or Princess Leia in disguise. But this character's from the Star Wars line and doesn't have that at all. But it's still gonna work. Anyway, here we are at the comparison stage. We see Chewbacca as he is in the vintage collection. We see what he looked like. We knew what he looked like in the original Star Wars. And this was his original release in the Star Wars action figure line back in 1978, a year after the movie came out. So we've come a long way. Where do you start with Klaatu? If you know anything about Star Wars characters like this, they are confusing. When they first came out, George Lucas had very generic names for them, but as years went by, the expanded universe, they got their own kind of individual names, because there were many aliens that looked like Klaatu. So was it Woof or was it Klaatu? Was he a Nikto? Oh, it's all very confusing, but I will tell you this. The original characters Klaatu, Barada, and Nikto from the original Return of the Jedi were all named after a really famous line from one of my favorite sci-fi movies. Do you know what it is? Yes! The Day the Earth Stood Still, and not the Keanu Reeves one, the original, where they had to tell Gort, Klaatu, Barada, Nikto. So I love that homage to the other sci-fi.
Klaatu, Barada, Nikto. Klaatu, Barada, Nikto.
Well, Klaatu here, of course. Here he was on the sail barge in the original Return of the Jedi movie. You can see his likeness. Here he is in his original release, where he was called, he was actually released in both the Woof costume and the Klaatu as Klaatu, but later they would retro that and give Woof his own action figure. Again, if this is getting too confusing, doesn't matter. We're going to continue on by showing you this is Klaatu now in the Star Wars Vintage Collection, and he looks great, ready for my playset. So what do you guys think of my two new Star Wars Vintage Collection action figures that are going to go inside of Jabba's Palace playset? Now, you look around, it looks pretty cool. Fills the scene. I really like what's happening here. But I need Jabba the Hutt, what is his name? Silicious Crumb, and a few others to fill her up.
Well, there, I feel a little bit better showing some love to Star Wars. I definitely love the whole franchise, and of course, the original trilogy is my favorite. Not saying there aren't great parts to all of them, and some not so great. And fully love The Mandalorian. I bet you noticed behind Jabba's palace, there's a couple of carded figures still back there. I'm waiting for one more so I can do an opening of the Mandalorian family for all of you and add them right next door to Jabba's palace. For right now, though, that looks pretty good. There is one more character for inside Jabba's palace that is available, but he's like $1 million. So we'll see. And then, of course, I know there's a Silicious Crumb character that was made in vintage. I gotta find him, but I don't think there was a Jabba the Hutt in the vintage collection. I know there's other ones. I'm gonna have to really pick which one fits best. Do you guys have any recommendations? Because I don't know which Jabba would look good with my Star Wars Vintage Collection. I can get him in there somehow. I can fit him in. I don't want Slave Leia because that's not really the piece of time that is. There actually is no Luke. Now, I will probably throw in a C-3PO because that seems to make sense. But anyway, that's all about what I'm doing here. So, as an adult collector, trying to fill my toy shelf with all those favorite franchises of mine made famous in the 1980s. That's what I do. I want to represent, and I know exactly what it is that I want to represent. Again, not always everything, but those things that were important to me. In the greatest generation, mine, this is PopCon, a salute to all pop culture, but mostly the 80s. So if you like this kind of content, please subscribe. Show me some love like I showed Star Wars by clicking like, and hope to see you again soon. So until next time.